Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Simone, and today we're going to talk about a topic that is extremely important for all first-time moms: starting solids. So when I was a first-time mom with Zephyr and I had to start solids, I was like, okay, now what? How do you do this? Are they going to choke? Oh my God, how's my baby going to eat? But it's not so tricky. It's actually pretty simple once you get the hang of it. So, of course, you have to know when your baby is ready for solids. That usually happens between the age of maybe 4 to 6 months. A lot of people recommend that baby start solids at 6 months, but there's a bunch of people that start by about 4.5 months. Basically, the rule is when your baby can sit up, obviously not sit up by herself, but sit up unassisted, that's when you know that the baby is ready to start solids. So there's so many questions that come into your mind when you're starting solids. Are you going to feed the baby purees and hand feed them? Are you going to do baby-led weaning? There's so many different methods now that you can experiment with. We personally did a little bit of baby-led weaning along with a lot of spoon feeding. I think baby-led weaning is a great way to get babies to start solids, but it's also very messy. It's also very time consuming. You have to have that kind of time and patience to allow your baby to go wild, eating, and then hope that your baby really eats all of that food by themselves. Else you have to jump back in and start spoon feeding the baby anyway. So we do a little bit of both. We tend to do 2 meals in the day, which are spoon fed, and then we try and do the snacks, which are more allowing the baby to feel textures and understand things and figure out how to eat. So we're going to start with what we did with Zephyr, but we're doing the same thing with Serena now as well. So for us personally, the most important thing when starting solids is to try and source as much of organic produce as we can. Organic is what your grandparents ate. So let's not make organic sound like it's some big fancy word, new age. It's not. Organic is basic, healthy food, which doesn't have all that nasty stuff, injected into it. So we try our level best to source organic for the kids. Having said that, now when Zephyr goes out to birthday parties and stuff, of course he eats whatever he likes. But for his main nutrition, which happens at home, we try and keep it as clean as possible. So how do you start solids? Okay, it's a very simple thumb rule, guys. Number 1, you need to do allergy tests. That's what my pediatrician told me, and I'm sure yours will too. Why allergy tests? Because if you hypothetically jump in and give the baby maybe a dal, rice and vegetables, and you mix it together and create some sort of khichdi and give it to the baby. If for whatever reason the baby does tend to get an allergic reaction, you won't know and you won't be able to pinpoint what it was inside that mixture that caused the allergic reaction. Hence, we do individual fruits and vegetables and individual grains for the first 2 weeks before we start proper meals. So this is my personal suggestion. Start with fruit. It's sweet. Babies love it. What we started with both Zephyr and Serena was stewed apples. So you literally take an apple, put it in the pressure cooker, add water to it, let it cook nice and soft. Once it's out, you can just mash it down, pulp it. The consistency depends entirely on you. We actually have the Philips Avent steamer and blender. What this does is it has a little portion that you can steam your vegetables and fruits in, and then it has another function which kind of purees them down. This is not something you have to have or you have to invest in, but if you can, then it just makes life a lot easier. So what we would do is we would stew this apple in a pressure cooker, pull it out, mash it down with a fork or with our blender or with any other blender that you may have at home, and feed that to the baby. So ensure that your fruit has been, mashed down to a good enough consistency. I would say make it as, pureed as possible initially, because remember the baby is literally going from breast milk or formula, which is such thin texture, to something a lot chunkier now. So you got to make sure that your puree is kind of mashed down to the best of your ability, I would say. So what we would do is we would start with an apple. We would give the apple once a day for possibly 2 days. Sometimes we would even do it for 1 day. If we don't see any reaction, honestly guys, even a 1-day allergy test is fine. In 24 hours, you can really tell if, the baby is going to get an allergic reaction or not. So I would say 1 day is fine. If you want to do 2 days to be on the safer side, go for it. With Zephyr, we did do 2 days per fruit and per vegetable. With Serena, we've gotten a lot more bolder. So we're doing 1 day. We did 1 day with every fruit and vegetable. So say day 1, you've given an apple, right? Day 2, you can give a pear. Same way, stew it, puree it down. The other thing I would definitely recommend is start with your grains. So rice and lentil, rice and dal, the staple Indian diet, right? So we start with that. Now, how you do that is you basically take your rice and start with moong dal because it's the lightest of all the dals. We don't want the baby getting all gassy because, lentil can cause gas. So I would say take your moong dal with your rice, just maybe like a spoonful each, put it in your pressure cooker with water. Once it's cooked, literally for the first time, just feed that water to the baby. So automatically she understands that, okay, now this is savory. I've tried an apple, I've tried a pear, it's sweet. This is now the savory option that I'm going to do. So you literally just take the water of the dal and the rice and you feed that to the baby. It's full of protein. It's great to introduce grains to the baby. I would do this for about 2 days, 1 meal a day, and really, really small quantities, maybe 30 ml or so. So now that we've introduced fruit and rice and dal, I would then move on to banana. Again, banana is very simple. Banana, you just open it up, mash it down, ensure that there are no lumps and anything that can, get the baby all choky, and start. Avocado is another great... Is avocado a fruit or a vegetable? Hey Siri, is avocado a fruit or a vegetable?
I'm on it. Okay, I found this on the web for is avocado a fruit or a vegetable? Check it out.
Avocado is a fruit. Okay, so I just asked Siri and she told me that avocado is a fruit. So avocado is a fruit. Also a great source of many, many nutrients for the baby, and also very easy to mash, and it's creamy texture. Really, babies love it. Zephyr and Serena really loved it. Butternut squash. This is not always very, very easily available in our country, but it's available. We've never really had a problem where it's been out of stock, but to get the organic version is a bit tricky sometimes. Having said that, butternut squash is phenomenal. It has so many nutrients in it. I mean, the list is endless. Then we've got carrot. So I'm showing you guys these vegetables and fruits just to tell you that when you're doing your allergy tests, these are what you're gonna do. 1 day apple, 1 day pear, 1 day dal and rice water, 1 day a carrot, 1 day an avocado, 1 day a little bit of butternut squash. All these I would steam in my blender and then puree. So that's how I personally do it. You can do it, you can use, like I said, use a regular pressure cooker, blend it with your hand, blend it with any other blender, no problem. We use this. Sweet potato, we definitely do 1 day of sweet potato. Once we're done doing this, it takes us about maybe 2 weeks to kind of get all of this out of the way. So we started solids with both Zephyr and Serena at 5.5 months. So that by the time they hit their 6-month mark, we were done with the allergy testings and we could then properly start solids. Okay, so now we're done with our allergy tests and the baby hasn't gotten a reaction to anything. Amazing, bravo. So now it's time to start proper meals. I would suggest starting with a day meal so that if baby gets constipated or it gets too gassy or whatever it may be, you have the rest of the day to sort it out before the night, because you don't want the baby, feeling all these things in the night and then you feeling helpless and scared and anxious or whatever it may be. So definitely start with your first meal as lunch. So what we feed Serena a lot for lunch, she's only 6.5 months, but we did this with Zephyr, and so I have that much more confidence this time around. So what we do is we make a khichdi. What's a khichdi called in English? A porridge. What we do is we take rice, we take moong dal, and we add 3 vegetables into it. So it could be butternut squash, beetroot, and spinach. You know, we would add these 3 into the dal and rice mixture. We would put just a little tingling of hing. Hing helps the baby not get gassy. So if we did that for lunch, we would also add just a tiny dot of ghee to the mixture. Now remember guys, ghee can be started at the age of 6 months, but you should not exceed 1 teaspoon of ghee per 24 hours with the baby till the baby turns about 8 months. Then you can start increasing it slowly. So for 6 to 8 months, ghee is a way better alternative to oil or anything else. Make sure your ghee is organic and comes from grass-fed cows, please. So yeah, we would just add a little bit of that, mix it all together in a pressure cooker, and once it comes out, we blend it a little bit because babies can't really eat too much of, you know, we don't want them choking or any choking hazards. They're just learning how to swallow. Let's cut them some slack. So what we do for the first week of starting solids now, and I mean after our allergy tests are done. So now we're 6 months in, baby started eating lunch. I just showed you one recipe of what we do, which is the mixed khichdi. Now what we do is we give this khichdi almost every alternate day for the first 2 months. We kind of just change the vegetables around. So my thumb rule is there should be 1 green, 1 red, and 1 yellow vegetable. So what I showed you just now was a butternut squash, beetroot, and spinach. Maybe the other day we would do carrot, sweet potato, maybe add a little bit of kale, or just put in spinach again. But another way to create a really nice porridge and a really healthy porridge is we use steel cut oats. Why steel cut versus rolled oats is because steel cut oats really maintain the nutrition a lot more. They're less polished, they're less, you know, all of that. They're as raw and natural as can be. We are currently using the one by True Elements, the steel cut oats. They're gluten free. So steel cut oats actually take a lot longer to cook. The instructions are at the back of the packet. Now what we do is we mix in again 3 vegetables of our choice with the oats. But no matter how much you cook steel cut oats, it's never going to reach a puree, the consistency of rice or anything of the sort. It's always going to be a little more grainier, a little more chunkier, which is a good thing because that's starting to get the baby into the habit of chewing, right? So one day is rice, one day is oat, and that's how we kind of mix it around. Or lunch could be oats and dinner could be rice. We'll get to that. So now that we're done showing you lunch options, so now imagine that we are at 6 months and 1 week. It's been 1 week where baby's been eating lunch consistently every single day. It's now time to introduce one more meal into the day. So now let's introduce dinner. So what we do for dinner is we swear by this brand. It's called First Solids. It's sprouted ragi porridge mix. Honestly, you can use any ragi or nachni powder as it's called and make your own nachni porridge. Ragi, the benefits are just endless. You can Google the benefits of ragi. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal grain. Sadly, very underused, but really, really amazing grain. So what we do with this is we take a little bit of this powder, a little bit of ghee, and a little bit of water, and we use organic jaggery. Let me tell you, there's not a single baby out there who's not gonna love this because one, it's sweet, and it works great for both mama and baby because you're getting all the amazing nutrients of ragi into baby, and the baby is happy because it's a sweet thing. So we definitely give ragi to our babies at least 3 to 4 times a week. So till the baby turns 8 months, we tend to give this about 3 to 4 times a week. After the baby turns 8 months, the baby starts eating a wider variety of stuff. So you can automatically slowly start reducing this, but honestly, Zephyr still eats it as a snack because it's so good. So First Solids is available on Amazon. No, this is not sponsored. This is genuine mama love. So guys, now I've told you a couple of recipes that you can do for babies for both lunch and dinner. Feel free to alternate them whenever you want. You know, as time passes, say baby is now almost hitting 7 months, you can introduce a masoor dal, which is the more orange dal. Again, play around with your vegetables, add some beans, add some tomatoes, you know, you can add some onion. Slowly, you will start adding the rest of the stuff, which is the garlic and the spices. When I say spices, I don't mean chili, I mean spices, like a jeera powder or a dhania powder and stuff. But this is all for later. Let's stick to what we're talking about now. So now let's imagine that baby is 6.2 weeks. So basically, 6.5 months is what I'm talking about. So now baby is 6.5 months. Now we're going to introduce breakfast. Breakfast, what we usually do is we start with mashing a banana, give it to the baby. Or we also use, these food meshes as they're called. I think this one's by Munchkin. Yes, it is. This one's by a brand called Munchkin. Again, very easily available on Amazon. What we do is we take pieces of our apple or our pear, we boil them down just a little bit, and then instead of mashing them, we fill up this mesh with the fruit and literally put it in the baby's mouth like a pacifier. She loves it. It helps her work her jaw muscles a little more because she has to work a little bit harder for her food versus spoon feeding her pureed stuff. But she really loves this. Zephyr really enjoyed doing this too. You can put whatever fruit or vegetable you want in this. You can put carrot sticks, you can put apples, pears, the list is endless. Melons. So I would definitely suggest getting the mesh. It's fun. Kids love it. Okay, so like I said, we would mash up a banana for breakfast. We would also take an avocado and, just scoop it out, mash it in. Sometimes you can even add a little bit of formula, like pre-mixed formula, into the avocado or the banana, thus making it more like a little pudding, porridge, whatever you want to call it. So that works as well in case the consistency is too thick or whatever it may be. Another thing that we love for breakfast as well as snack time, which is in the evening, is this. This one is by a brand called Organics. We also use Ella's Kitchen, but we don't have that particular strawberry porridge with us to show you right now. But we're going to show you a photo of it. Anyway, this is Organics. It's a strawberry and banana porridge with added vitamin B1. So basically all you do with these porridges is, firstly, they're all organic. You just add some formula, a little bit of premixed formula or water into this, stir it in. You want to add some additional fruit by mashing it in. You can absolutely do that too. We love this. So this one is for 6 months onwards, which is stage 1. Then we've also got the banana and plum porridge, which is 7 months onwards. And we absolutely love these. They're easy to carry when you travel. They're easy even at home. Don't consider this packaged food. It's not. It's really good stuff. So another thing that has helped us a lot, especially when we travel, not just travel, you could be out at a play area or a birthday party or anything of the sort, and it's baby's snack time. And what are you going to do? You can't always carry stuff with you, right? It's not always convenient, but these pouches are. Ella's Kitchen, everyone knows them. It's a name that, resonates with every mom. We have a whole bunch of flavors. We love Ella's, but we also use a lot of Rafferty's Garden, Piccolo. There's a bunch of brands available out there, but Ella's is the most convenient as far as India goes, as far as finding it in India goes. So For instance, this one is blueberries, apple, banana with vanilla. It's from 4 months onwards. So all the Ella's packets tell you what age it's from. There's some that are from 7 months, some from 8 months, some from 12 months. Obviously, you use them as per the age, right? So yeah, these are definitely things that you must keep at home just for those emergencies. Last but not the least, water. When your baby starts solids, water is of utmost importance because your baby's never had water before this. Unless you mix your formula in with water, that's separate. I'm talking about just plain H2O. Baby's never had it, but it's extremely important for baby to have water and a good amount of water after every meal. Once baby's done with the meal, wait for about 10 minutes and then try and get them to have about, say, an ounce or 30 ml of water for sure. It helps one, digest the food better, and also it kind of protects the baby from getting constipated. We all know the benefits of water, right? I don't have to explain the benefits of water to you. Come on, guys. So guys, Serena has just woken up from her nap and now it's almost time for snack time. I'm gonna wind this video up by saying that slowly at 8 months, there's a lot more stuff that you will introduce to your baby. But for the first month and a half, 2 months, I would say 6 to 8 months, keep it simple, keep it basic, keep it nutritious, because that's the main aim, right? Filling up their little tummies with all kinds of amazing goodness, and hey, keep it organic. If you guys have tried some amazing recipes for your babies when they were 6 to 8 months, please share them with us in the comments below. I would love to follow them and check them out. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, tell them to subscribe. Yes. And don't forget to click that bell icon. See you next time, guys. I hope this video has been helpful.